well. Let's go to the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Cover 10th, and we're joined by the host of the Buddy Martin Show that you can listen to on weeknights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on all your different platforms. It's the one and the only Buddy Martin. Good morning, buddy. How you doing?
Good morning, Shane. Still thinking about our conversation last night and the news about all the quarterbacks, including Cam Ward. Good news for him. I guess he's going to be taken number one if you believe the internet.
Yeah, the draft is Thursday night, and I think the Titans have to take Cam Ward. They have no other options, quite honestly. So we'll see how that all pans out. We'll see what Gators go. I don't know how many will go or if any will go Thursday night. Probably wait and go Friday. But buddy, baseball's kind of turned it around. They have they got to go 6-6 or 7-5 at best. I mean, or worse, 6-6, and still may get in. Softball has 2 series left. They're 2 games out of first place in the SEC. Good things are happening there. Keegan Rothrock came back on Saturday. And then the news that broke yesterday that we discussed quite a bit on your program last night, Denzel Aberdeen going into the transfer portal and signing with the University of Kentucky. Yourself, a lot of other people are upset about it. Give me your thoughts.
Well, I mean, I thought about it a lot and thought about it a lot last night and a lot this morning. And it's okay for me to be disgruntled, okay? I mean, the question becomes how much before the fan base starts getting hardened in their approach to things, because you play off their emotions. You need them to be behind you. And we talked about business models last night. Well, this is what it is now. It's a business model. And the question is, for those of us who are unhappy that this escalation keeps going, and I don't know what Denzel ended up getting, and, I'm not denying he should have taken it, sure. I just don't like a system where you can have a beautiful masterpiece that Todd Golden had this year with a lot of things that went right. Because as I said last night on my show, don't get used to things always going 100%. Things go wrong, too. A lot and hard. And right now, Franz Beard, who you were on with last night, is writing this long series on recapping the season. And when you read it on GatorBaitMedia.com, you realize how many pitfalls there were, how many times things could have gone sideways. And to repeat a masterpiece is just damn near impossible. But all you can ask is they're in it, and they're and they will be, and I believe Todd Golden brings us that assurance. But for the fan base, and this is who I speak to most of the time, and you do too, the question becomes, I hear people dropping off. They'll come back, they usually do, but how much can they take? And here's the question. As a fan, do we stop caring about these things? Do we stop caring about ETN and all the guys I mentioned last night, and now Denzel, guys who've left the program and then went to the other side? That's the complication. Denzel went to the dreaded Kentucky Wildcats. I get it. It's a payday. Fine. But don't be expected to come back to Gainesville and people throwing rose petals at your feet and buying you a drink bar, because it ain't going to happen, because are not that forgiving. They might say, well, it's okay, they got money. No. When you turn on your fan base, when you become to on the other side, and as far as the fans go, it's betrayal. And betrayal is a serious price to pay. I guarantee you, if you ask Denzel in 10 years from now, he'll realize, yes, he got something for it, but he gave up something. And if you're willing to do that, that's fine. But don't be expect to be invited to the party and get a statue. So my question is, Shane, to the fan, or to me, let's say, or whoever, and I'm a fan just like you are, do we stop caring that these people are leaving the program and going to the dark side? Or do we become the get off my lawn guy, that we become hard crusted and bitter and whatever, and take all the old school advice and say players are selfish, teamwork's no I in team, all those cliches, or listening and hearing to advice and comments like Nick Saban, who I find myself agreeing with more and more these days. He just said this and he nailed it. Number one, entitlement gets you nothing. Number two, excuses get you nothing. Three, lack of effort gets you nothing. Show up, lock in, do the work, no deposit, no return. So it's all combined. You're playing with the emotions of fans when that happens, and you might get anything. So don't expect everybody to love you.
Yeah, a couple of comments. We got a bunch of comments coming in right here. Brawl71 on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, it stinks, buddy, but let's also not forget that Golden built this roster with a lot of transfer portal players too, door swings both ways.
Oh, wait.
That's
Now,
kind of how
let me correct something. I've heard that last night. It's not the same thing as getting a portal player. But when you go leave your team and go to the other side, the teams that you hate the most, the Georgias, Kentucky in basketball, it's a different animal. It's not the same. It's okay to go to the portal. It's okay to to get a payday, and I get that. I don't like it, but also you have to understand there's a price to be paid for that. And so when you go to the other side, I'm out.
Yeah, Kevin says on the Titan MR text line, maybe Denzel wanted to play for Kentucky. I mean, it is Kentucky. They are a pretty historic team.
Good.
Look, here's my thoughts on it. Here's what I said last night on your show. I'm trusting my coach. You know, everybody in today's world, college athletics has become professional sports where they can release players or cut players in a proper way since there are no contracts and they have no obligation of paying anything when you cut a guy. Tide could have just said, I mean, they signed the Xavier Lee kid and they got a guy out of Australia that they think is really, really good. I know he's going to be in the draft as well, but he could come back. But we don't know what was discussed between Todd Golden and Denzel Aberdeen. Look, I love Denzel. I think he's a very good basketball player. I think there's a million basketball players like him around the country and some better ones. And I think you got to trust your coach that if he didn't feel like he needed Denzel to move forward, they would have done everything they possibly could to keep him. You know, whether it's a money grab or whatever, I think people got to remember in today's world, you can cut players or get rid of players without any issues. And I don't know if I'm making any sense, but maybe Todd Golden said, look, we're going to sign this guy to be our point guard. We're going after these other guys at the guard position. If you want to stay, that's up to you. If you want to leave, we'll support you, blah, blah, blah. That's what we don't know. But again, I go back to, yes, he's going to Kentucky. Take your orange and blue glasses off. It's a great program, historical program. Wish him well. But we don't know what Todd Golden told Denzel Aberdeen, is my point.
Well, we're dealing with a whole bunch of maybes and I don't know anything. The famous Maya Angelou quote is, years after later, people won't remember what you said, but they'll remember how they felt about it. And I'm telling you, it has nothing to do with trusting Todd Golden. Of course I trust Todd Golden. I trusted Billy Napier. It took me a while, but I finally trusted Billy Napier. It's not about trusting. I get it's a program. I get the money part, but I don't have to like it. And as a fan, I don't have to sit there and take it and not say anything about it. So I think those that don't like it have a right to voice their opinion. And I, as a writer, I understand it. I read about it. I talk about it on the, but as a fan, I don't like the trend. So maybe I'm becoming that, my lawn guy. Maybe that's who I am. But anyway, it's just an ugly side. I think what college athletics needs right now is a good purge. Let's get rid of all this crap and then go back at the table and get contracts and figure out, because the guiding lights of the people who lead us through these dark times have abandoned us, the NCAA, etc. We have no leadership. We know that. So it's a tough time right now to be a fan. Not everybody can afford to buy season tickets every year to go to the games. It's hard, but the Gator fans have a loyal bunch of people. over 500,000 alumni, and they don't screw around with that because it wouldn't take long to piss off a lot of people.
Whenever Meyer wanted to introduce his high quality tequila to the Gator Nation, he made sure to get it to the HBC and his team at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Dorn's Liquor. Go Beyond with smooth Los Landeros tequila. AU Gator says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. That to me is the biggest difference between the 06-07 team and the current. They wanted to come back and win it again as Gators. Of course, I realize they've NIL then, but I wish they had loyalty. You can't compare that because I can promise you they wouldn't have all come back.
Oh, they also did.
You wouldn't be
able to afford it if they did, so there's no question.
Yeah. So Verone 71 says here's the difference in the portal era. ETN will never be loved again at Florida and hardly thought of at Georgia. Yet a guy like P. Ryan will always be loved in Gainesville. I don't know what that means, but look, people are going to hold this against Denzel. This is different.
Yes, they are.
Then I don't think they will.
Yes, they will. Well, I don't think if I'd be coming down to Spurrier's Gridiron Grill every week and asking people to buy me drinks if I were Denzel. Of course, he can afford to buy his own drink.
Right, but again, I think this is my personal opinion. I think Todd Golden and them think they can find better players than Denzel.
Well, maybe he can. Good luck. We'll see. It's like national championship.
Denzel's a good player, but he's not an elite player, and I think they're going to go find an elite player.
But you're looking at it totally different. You're looking at it totally different than I am. You're looking at it as a business decision, and you're looking at it like the coach's choice. I get all that. I'm speaking for many of the fans who feel
Buddy, let's use you. You pitched at Florida back in the day, correct?
Very little, but some, yes.
Okay, so my point to it is, if you were playing in today's world, and you coming off we win the national title in 2017 in baseball, I think it was. You were in the rotation. You were maybe a bullpen guy, and they were expecting you to maybe be a starter the following year. You were part of that team, and you did a lot to help them. Kevin O'Sullivan sits down when he says, you know what? We're signing these 3 starting pitchers. Mm-hmm. 2 of them are coming out of the portal. The other one is the top pitcher in high school baseball. We're not sure where you fit in. Are you going to hang around?
Well, that's not the same thing as me getting $100,000 to go pitch at Georgia. No. I mean,
no. I mean, let's say.
I didn't hang around. I didn't hang around for a lot less than that, but I get that part. I wasn't good enough to break into the starting line, so I got it, and I had studies and grades to take care of, and I get all that. No, it's not for everybody. I'm talking about an elite member of a national championship team that it was beloved by Gators and a magical season that we're not likely to see again. And I'm not saying he shouldn't have. I'm just saying don't expect me to be all in on him and be loving and forgiving and say, oh, that's all right, come on back. You want to give that part up? Fine, that's okay with me. But don't expect me, the consumer, to say, yeah, way to go, good luck at Georgia. My good friend Fred Pancos, who was a coach when Coach Spurrier played, had a lot to do with Steve's career. He was a backfield coach, but he's also kind of a semi-offensive coordinator. When Ray Graves stepped aside, he lost his job. The first job he got was the backfield coach at Georgia. Do I blame him? No, he was let go. If Mike White was let go and didn't have a job, fine. But don't expect it to be the thing. We've had coaches in football go from FSU to Florida back to FSU. It happens. But money is a different deal. I think it's pretty biblical. The lust for money is the root of all evil. I'm not against money. I'll take some. I'm just saying it's a different time for the fans. You have to be able to actually, I'll read this thing here. I got off Twitter, whatever you call it. NIL has really run college basketball. It's hard to even get your own players back every year Just imagine how much Florida would have had to pay to get the Oceans. In fact, the portal is out of control. Now, you'll agree on that part, I know. You're like me. Let's find some governance. Let's get contracts. But at some point, if you mess around with the fans, particularly in a bad economy, which it looks like we're starting to get now, it's going to get a little lean out there. Just remember, this, it's a different day. So that's all. I made my protest. I've said my piece. I believe it's a delicate balance when you play with fans' emotions. Be careful what you do.
Here's what I will say to this: the fans in December, after 10 games, ain't going to be worried about Denzel Aberdeen when Xavier Lee's doing what people think Xavier Lee and these other guys are. That's my point.
It doesn't change
this
anything.
This ain't Walter Clayton, who had an opportunity to come back to be the star again for a defending national championship team, decided to leave. I have nothing against Denzel. I think he's a very good basketball player. But I watch college basketball. There's a million guys like him out there. And I trust Todd Golden is going to go get stars come in and replace him.
I don't think we're talking the same language. You and I are not talking about the same thing. We keep going back to the same thing. Oh, it's not about that. So I'll just leave mine at stopping right there and say, I made my point. I'll say no more. It's not okay to say, oh, well, we're winning. It's okay. No, that winning solves a lot of problems. It never takes away the emotions of the fan who feels betrayed and will always feel that way. I hear from them on my show. You hear from them. I'm not saying that they're bad, terrible people. I'm just saying I don't like it, and I just putting that. I'm lodging my protest. Having said that, I'm not going to bring it up anymore. If you want to, fine, it's your show. It's just a point I want to make that the fans' emotions are not something you could keep playing with it without some kind of consequence.
I guess I look at it differently. But we talked about it last night. Jack Pyburn. We weren't going to pay him on it. He thought he was worth because
I was sorry
he's not a great pass rusher.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you want him to stay, but I don't think we're going to miss a beat. I don't think we're going to miss a beat with Denzel. We didn't miss a beat with Trevor Etienne. I said on the show last year when he left, we have better running backs than him, and we do. And like I said, I trust the coaches' evaluation because I think in all those sports, I think the evaluation process has been pretty good by all of them. Let's see here. This is from I don't know who it's from. It says on the Titan More text line. It's not like ETN going to Georgia. I will still pull for Denzel. All right. So Matt says here on the Titan More text line, count me in as a new Joey Aguilar fan. Man, I hope he comes in a solid year. How hilarious would that be? Also saw that the younger Ima Leva, however you pronounce it, brother is transferring from Arkansas before even showing up. This family isn't doing itself any favors. Yeah, so if people missed it, basically we had a trade between the UCLA Bruins and the Tennessee Volunteers. They swapped quarterbacks. I've watched Joey Aguilar play a lot at App State. I think he's a better quarterback than Nico is. Maybe doesn't have all the so-called skill set, but the ability, the football IQ, knowing how to play the quarterback position, I think Tennessee is in better hands, unfortunately for us. That doesn't mean they're going to go off and win a bunch of games, but I'd rather Nico be playing for them.
Shane, can I jump in?
Okay, so David, I want to read this. David says, on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Phone. Imagine if your girlfriend dumps you, Shane, and it leads to meeting your wife who is more awesome. Doesn't mean you don't resent her for dumping you, even if
you go. Now we're talking.
But here's the thing is, people, Denzel did not dump the Gators. That's the point. There are no contracts in NCAA and NCAA sports, right? There are no contracts. All these people that sit here continuously on a daily basis talk about, well, the players should be paid all this money. The coaches have been making millions and millions and millions of dollars, and they bounce around. Well, you know what's different, people? A coach has a big contract. There is something called a buyout, okay? So if Aberdeen was under contract and had to pay a buyout to go to Kentucky, that's a different thing. You can't blame this because we don't have, apparently we did not want to pay him what Kentucky wanted to pay. So blame the coach on that, man. The fans need to blame the coach.
You're talking about a cold hard business decision. Fine, if that's how you want to look at it. Let me say this: does Florida get Kentucky at home this year? I don't know anymore. The schedule.
I don't care where they play them. They can play them in Egypt. I'm not going to root against Denzel Aberdeen.
Let me finish the thought. If they play at Florida, somebody help me out on this year in Gainesville, and he comes down and plays on the team, what kind of reception do you think Denzel Aberdeen will get from the fans?
I think some will cheer and some will boo. And you think Denzel gives a damn? No.
A lot will boo.
He ain't going to care.
Well, that's the point. Who does care anymore? Somebody's got to care, right? The fans are the ones that are supposed to care. They're emotionally invested, not just financially. And this point in time, if you ask them, you took a poll, I'd say probably 30-40% of them will be really hacked with Denzel Aberdeen, whether we like it or not, whether we think it's a good business. It's not about just the business. Like he said, it's like the girlfriend dumped you and you married.
Why are you not mad at Todd? Why are you not mad at Todd Golden, buddy? Let me ask you that.
Because I understand he couldn't pay him $3 million or whatever it was.
Because he didn't think he was worth it. Because he thought he could find better players.
Okay,
that's where I'm going with
this. Missing this point about the fact that we treasure a special relationship, a great season, a great team, your brother teammates, and all that kind of stuff. I get it, but it's happening and happening and happening and happening. These things happen every day. Is no one going to care? It's like the small town who had a crooked sheriff. Nobody cared. I mean, it's just something wrong here. It's just what it is. Sometimes principle does matter, whether it matters to the player or not. It matters to the fan and the people who emotionally and financially invest in the program. That's all I want to say about that. I just want to make that clear. I'm not saying I don't trust Todd Golden or they can't get better. Of course they can get better. No doubt about it. I'm just saying there is an emotional price to pay.
Tanya Ron on YouTube brought to you by Plum almost knows they can recruit Ben Henshaw any good. Well, he's in the NBA draft. People think he's going to get drafted. But our staff, I am pretty confident in this, think he is better than what we had on the roster. And they want him, from everything I've been told. All right. So, buddy, we wasted most of the show talking about Denzel Aberdeen.
I think the chance to mention oddity I wanted to bring up, thought was a great little tidbit. The Ole Miss catcher, Austin Foley, hit a grand slam in the first inning. It was pretty cool. What was really cool, his mother caught it. His mother caught the ball. That was really cool.
Say that one more time.
The Ole Miss catcher hit a grand slam in the first inning of a game. His mother caught the ball. His mother from the stands. It was pretty cool. Right?
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
Yeah. And one more thing. Jack Caglione is ripping the cover off the ball. Another grand slam in the top of the 12th. And they're calling for him in Kansas City to let him come up. Why they still be the biggest since George Brett?
Yeah, it's kind of weird because he's still in Double-A. Why they haven't brought him up yet? I have not followed the Kansas City Royals. I don't know how they're doing. I don't know who plays first base. I don't know who DHs for them. But you would think it doesn't take a genius to figure out to kick and hit the baseball.
He'll be up soon. He'll be up before the season's out, I do believe. I don't think he'll have to wait until September. We'll see. They're bringing him along slow. Baseball's funny that way. But he is ripping the cover off the ball and everything we thought he might be. Congratulations to Jack Caglione, Kegs.
Yeah, so on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, Jason says, Aberdeen made a business decision, and so did Todd Golden.
Okay.
And I agree with that. So
good. Then let's forget about it. Who cares? Let's don't even
have there's no, I'm telling you right now, nobody's going to care.
No.
Nobody's going to care after 3 games this year.
Okay.
Nobody will care.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. Who you got on your show tonight, buddy?
Well, it's not me. It's Lauren Meadows. He'll have Rob Brown and the team there. He'll be at 9 o'clock. Always a good show. Lauren does a great job. Host your show sometime, and he'll have an interesting show. He'll have some things to say about all. And I'm sure talk about the draft a little bit, and certainly Gator basketball. Always in the four, especially now, and maybe a little bit on the draft. I think maybe they're right about Miami's quarterback. When you saw him play the first time? Did you think he was first round material?
Oh, I've always thought he was first round material. I think he's got to clean up some of his nonchalantness, if that's a word.
That's a good word. Get it up.
But yeah, he's by far the most talented one there.
Why don't you like Shedeur Sanders?
I didn't like the system he played in. I think he's okay, but I'm not sure. I mean, he's got a chance. I don't know if the second quarterback will be Jackson Dart or him. I tell you, the kid that I like a lot is the kid.
Well, New Orleans wants Jackson Dart. New Orleans wants Jackson Dart. Yeah.
I think Kyle McCord, who left Ohio State and went to Syracuse, I think he's a guy that's going to surprise some people at the next level.
Really? I had not heard that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, he's going to be drafted in the first 3 or 4 rounds, but he's big, strong. He's excited to go to the football, had a phenomenal year at Syracuse, and I like him. I like him a lot.
Take your word on that. I hope you're right about the quarterback from the Gators wound up getting. It sounds like you've seen him play, and we trust his. I trust
Who's that?
The kid they got to play quarterback. They just got him to play quarterback.
But Harrison Bailey's a good player. I mean, he's exactly what you need as a backup. A guy who's been going into his 6th year. If you play for Jeff Brom, like you ask Coach Spurrier, who he thinks probably the best play caller, passing design guy in college football. He agrees with. I guarantee he'll agree with me, Jeff Brom.
Yeah, Aguilar. By the way,
they're very similar.
Aguilar is supposed to have gotten $1.2 million. He left at UCLA, but because of the deal, then the changing of the tax structure, it's more because y'all pay income tax in Tennessee. So
Mark says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. People think Sanders is the same athlete as Dad, but he's not even close. He's not the most athletic guy in the world. All right, buddy. Have a good weekend.
All right,
we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Shane, for having me.
That's Buddy Martin. Join us on the Titan Number Highline courtesy Comfort Temp. Take a quick time out. Come back. We'll be joined by the Orlando Sentinel, Edgar Thompson. Get his thoughts on Denzel. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union,
International Diamond Center,
Meldon Law, QC Kinetics, Dave & Buster's, UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, JF Hayden Craft Liqueurs, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Los Linderos Tequila. Gridiron sponsors are Baker Sporting Goods, Comfort Temp, Electronics World, Florida Victorious, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Celebrate Primary Care, Dowling Sign, Gator Bait Media, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, Okido America, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Nest and Wow, MG&A Wealth Management. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. To become a sponsor, call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
I'm tired of you living in pain, and I want you to get real lasting relief from chronic pain in your knees, back, shoulders, and hips. QC Kinetics can get you moving again with cutting-edge regenerative treatments with no drugs, no downtime, and no surgery. Stop putting it off. Call now and schedule your free consultation. Call QC Kinetics now in Gainesville, Ocala, and the Villages. 352-400-4550. 352-400-4550.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet, complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, and of course our chicken and waffles. Plus, you can enjoy bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. Ruse Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help you and your family. Visit OgreInsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. Well, we're not going to have Edgar Thompson. Something came up. No big deal. We'll just plug away here. Maybe I got to get to a meeting here shortly anyway. Got a bunch of texts I want to read here. This is a text from Willie. Willie says, Shane, I watch a lot of college basketball as well. There are tons of guards at every level that are as good as Denzel or even better. I think we will have some good guard play. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I get it. But we don't know what was discussed in these meetings. I'm sure Todd wanted him back, but I'm sure Todd told him, look, I'm going after these dudes right here. And here's, nobody was worried. I mean, people complaining whether they were or not when we signed Walter Clayton from Iona, when we bring Elijah Martin from FIU and Will Richard from Belmont, okay? I would not be surprised if we don't sign some kids from those mid-majors. Because there are so many good players at those levels in basketball. It's scary. Rod says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. We do get upset. Coach leaves. Some Gator fans are still mad at Urban after giving UF 2 natties for leaving. I mean, those things happen. I just don't, until they have contracts with these athletes that hinder them from leaving, or they have to pay something back, or the other school has to pay something for that player, it's going to continue to be a mess. You're going to keep seeing kids bounce around nonstop. This Day in Sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life at Campus USA Credit Union. In 2010, Oklahoma quarterback Sam Bradford was the first pick for the St. Louis Rams. And I remember he signed like the biggest deal ever. That's This Day in Sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Yeah, I kind of see what Buddy's seeing, but I don't, for some reason, I don't understand it. I know fans are upset about Denzel leaving, but I don't think the fans are going to give two craps after the first 3 or 4 basketball games, after they see the team that Todd assembles, right? Like I said on his show tonight, fans get upset in the National Football League. Let's just use let's use Aaron Rodgers. He was a longtime member of the Green Bay Packers, okay? Well, they didn't want him anymore. So he goes and plays for the Jets. Okay? That could be the case with our basketball team. We may not have wanted him, or we have somebody better coming in. Sean says, had Aberdeen left last year, nobody would care. Yeah. So anyway, here's another text on the Titan Amar text line from Bob. He says, Shane, do you know when fall training camp starts? I guess you're assuming the Gators. I do not know the answer to that. It's usually like right around the first week of August. We can find that out, but I would think you're talking about fall practice. So hopefully DJ will be practicing here shortly, or at least throwing the football. I've had some people that I failed to mention on some texts that have come through as well, saying they saw an interview with his personal quarterback coach saying everything is fine. Well, what the hell you think they're going to say? That is not true. They're keeping him because they're worried about his shoulder. And hopefully DJ, the rehab and everything, he's going to heal up quickly. We know he played through a shoulder injury last year. Hopefully he can play through it this year. I mean, that's just the fact. So We need him healthy. We got some dudes this year. Shooter McGavin on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, QB, what are your thoughts on the money these players are getting off pure potential? Very few of these kids are proven. It's ridiculous, Shooter. Nico's the one that kind of got it all started a few years ago coming out of high school with all the reports that they were going to give him an $8 million deal, which they did. You know, he made over $2 million his first year, didn't play at all, redshirted. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But there are no rules or regulation. So if a coach or general manager wants a player, they think he's got a lot of potential, they're going to throw a lot of money at him. It's kind of like the NFL now. You know, they've been bust nonstop, which it's amazing to me how many busts happen in the National Football League after you've watched them play actually at the collegiate level. You know, playing at the high school level is hard to evaluate. You hear it all the time, especially at the quarterback position, depending on what kind of system the guy's playing, what kind of league is he playing. You know, it's hard to evaluate like 1 and 2A type players that are dominating. How's that going to translate to the next level? But the money is absolutely nuts. Franklin says, rumors Greg Smith to Miami. Meanwhile, Miami safety entered the portal and is visiting Florida. Laugh out loud. That's funny. It is funny. BCS Gator says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. To me, it's not that Aberdeen left. The fact that he went to Kentucky is what makes this a big deal. If he transferred to UNC, nobody is upset. I guess. I mean, anyway, Florida Cracker is the brand for original Floridians. Great food and Southern hospitality in the center of the universe, Brooksville, Florida. FloridaCracker.com. Another text here on the Titan MR text line. Says, Shane, if you were the Jaguars GM, who would you take with their 5th pick? Whew. I don't really know their roster well, quite honestly. We had Frank Frangie on yesterday. He talked about they needed to be a more physical football team, so that would tell you they need some interior guys probably. But just from a skill standpoint, I do think he talked about Ashton Genty being a possible pick there at number 5. I like Ashton Genty. I think he's a special running back. You know, in today's world, they say we don't want to we don't want to sign or draft running backs real high, but I think he's a special player. So I'd probably go Ashton Genty. Give me somebody who can score a bunch of touchdowns. Shooter McGavin says there are more busts than success stories. We have better luck with JC's picks. Probably so. Probably so. Gator baseball, I think, plays Georgia Southern tonight. They got some big series coming up. Have an opportunity to still make postseason play. I think most people think they need to go 7-5. 6-6 might get them in. And as I mentioned, softball is winding out. It's hard to believe how fast it goes. Softball has two series left. They end regular season at home against the 4-time defending champs, the Oklahoma Sooners. So that should be a lot of fun. I wanted to mention this the other day when JC was on here. It was Stanford and Cal broke the attendance record for college softball by playing in the Stanford football stadium. They had like 13,000 people. I can tell you right now, if the Lady Gator softball team had a softball game in the Swamp, I really believe they'll get 25,000 people easily. There's not enough room in the stadium. I mean, that turned people away. I had a good friend of mine who was on campus this past weekend, went to a softball game against Alabama, and could not believe how they enjoyed it. I said, to me, it's the best entertainment on campus. And I do think I think Florida or Oklahoma or somebody like that, if they played in their football stadium, they would easily break that record that Stanford just set. So anyway, I digress. Okay, now we have Edgar. All right, Edgar's going to hop on now. At least that's what he says. Okay. All right. Yeah, Gator Max says here on YouTube, brought to you by Club. No, you can't. It's impossible. They could fill Conjuring Ballpark easily every game if it's that big. Do we have Edgar now? Edgar, you there, my man?
I'm here.
All right, we got Edgar Thompson. Edgar, we've had a heated discussion with Buddy Martin today. He comes from a fan standpoint. I guess I'm a fan. I'm a big basketball fan, but I also understand how the business works today. Give me your thoughts on the Denzel Aberdeen deal.
His visit from Kentucky's visit to the O-Dome is going to be pretty interesting next year. I got people texting me. They are just ready to rip the guy a new one. I mean, look.
But let me ask you this.
Hold on. Do you want my opinion, or you want to keep saying what you've been saying for 45 minutes? I'm guessing.
Yeah, I want to hear your opinion.
I've been chasing Mark Long's dog. That's why I'm so on edge. I'm watching Mark's dog. She got loose, and this dog.
Oh boy!
I've been chasing her.
Did you find the dog?
She's in the house now, and I've been chasing her for 30. It's not funny, man. I mean, she literally almost ran out in University Avenue in rush hour. It's very irving. She's a sweet dog, though. She kind of ruined the visit, though. But anyway, all right. So look, and just like segueing, Denzel Aberdeen kind of ruined the vibe of this whole experience for himself, at least. And this is my opinion. He was going to be the belle of the ball next year. He was going to be a fan favorite. He was going to be a starter, presumably. He was being offered a significant amount of money, I know for a fact, significant. He wasn't getting what he felt in his camp he deserved, so he took more money. Now, these aren't decisions that the fans, myself, presumably yourself at this point in your life, we don't get to make these decisions with, six-figure decisions and seven-figure in this case, it sounds like maybe, difference in pay. So the point being, it's hard to judge the kid. I just know how fans are going to react to this when he comes back to Gainesville. It's going to be vitriolic. And he's an Orlando kid who won a state title at Dr. Phillips and now has won a national title at Florida just up the road. And he stuck through it for 3 years to get to this point. And now here was going to be the reward. Now, he already won reward, but a bigger reward even in some ways to be a starter, a high-profile player. Certainly, they're going to keep recruiting. They're always trying to recruit over you. But he was going to be a trio, kind of a part of that trio of starters, the way they like to play that, I think. And maybe he would have been a sixth man or seventh man, but he would have played a ton and been a relevant player for the defending national champions. And now he's going to come back to Florida some years from now or whenever. And it's just, it's not going to be quite the same. And whether it's in the community or whatever, plenty of people won't hold it against him, but some will. I don't know. Hey, look, it's the way it works now. You can't take it personally. Todd was saying to me last Friday when this happened, he's like, you can't take it personally. We were texting, and he's like, it's just the business you're in. And he will recruit players that are probably better than Denzel ultimately. Xavier Lee is a better, more complete player who will have the ball in his hands more than Denzel would. I still just think it's kind of short-sighted maybe on his part. But again, it's easy for me to, nobody's offering me, this kind of life-changing money.
No, I agree with all of that. Like I said, if we wanted him bad enough, we would have upped the ante. Now, whether we have the money or not to do that, I think if you think he's going to be the main focus of your team, you find a way to get it done. And like I said, this is nothing against Denzel. I like his game, but I think there's a million guys like him in college basketball.
They'll get his comparable players, if not better. A.J. Brown in here today. Is he, he's a more physically built kid. He seems to be shoot the three better. He might be a better player. Xavier Lee looks like he could be a real good player. So, and then you're mentioning the Aussie kid, because I caught the tail end of what you guys were doing when I was back with the dog. And I don't know where that's all going to land, but certainly a talented guy. So Todd, look, I joked the other day, and Todd We Trust, one of our friends. Well, Phil Stambaugh, you know Phil. And I was joking,
Mm-hmm.
in Todd We Trust, and that's his new mantra. The guys put together, I mean, he hadn't hit them all. I mean, Trey Bond looked like a good player, even though it didn't here. And there's been others, his first year that didn't really like pop. What was it, Kerry Lofton? Was he a Todd guy? Remember?
Who?
St. Bonnie point guard, Kerry Lofton.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah,
his
he
name.
did. He wasn't what we thought he was going to be, but I think he also might have been injured. And he had a groin and back issue that really didn't get talked about a lot. Look, Alex Fudge. I mean, he's didn't really pan out, but that was on the fly.
Right.
Now he knows what he's looking for here, the culture they've created, how to fit the pieces together, because he does have a lot coming back. Here's an interesting one: Chinyelu or Henlogden. Which one would you take? Because I'm guessing now that I'm seeing the way this money's being distributed, because I'm hearing, guys have been paid, locked in, whatever. I don't know that they can keep both of them, which is surprising to me. I thought they'd have all four of those post players back, and now I'm wondering if they're going to be able to keep them. And I think they want Micah, but Chanel, I met his uncle, who's kind of more of a, guy he knows from back home, who played in NBA some and played all over the world professionally. This guy met him, and we were talking, and he was already talking about money after the Raleigh-Durham regional. So I have a feeling that he might be asking have a big asking price that maybe Florida's not going to be able to meet if you're locking up Houck, Condon, whose values have gone up extremely high, and the rest of them. So yeah, I mean, Lee is not cheap. If I'm Walter Clayton or whatever, I'm sitting here going, man, I wish I'd waited one more year, because he would have doubled his payday easily.
Yeah, and you would have to pay him. I think what we're looking at is anytime a team wins a lot of games and wins a national title, you got good players, and those good players are going to look to see how much money they can make somewhere. And it's right here on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Wesley says Shane just doesn't get it about Aberdeen. What am I not getting? Look, I am trusting Todd Golden.
Disloyalty.
I guess that why I'm mad about him leaving. Look, I didn't get mad when Jack Pyburn went to LSU. I didn't get mad when ETN went to Georgia, because I thought our running backs were better. I think we have better outside edge rushers than Pyburn. Are they good players? Absolutely. But we had better players. And I think, again, this is nothing against Denzel. I think Todd Golden will have better players. And as a fan, that's what you want. Would you rather have Denzel back on next year's team or have a better player than Denzel on your team? And until they get rules and regulations, this is what's going to happen for teams that win. In my opinion.
No doubt. And the thing you had with Denzel was a guy with a lot of buy-in and culture.
Right.
It does matter, as this team proved, because this team had a bond, I think, that you can't undersell, that helped them really stick together, because there were a lot of times where they had to. The Gators during the NCAA tournament, my Lord, that run was, they were on a tightrope the whole time, high wire act. So, yeah, in terms of ETN, I disagree. He was a stud. He's going to probably end up being a pretty good NFL player. I mean, I was reading a breakdown of him. He's only the 9th rated running back, according to Jeff Legowell. He's a 99 overall player. But he's even praising his pass protections. I was surprised, but I don't know about that. But he can catch the ball, and I think he's a home run threat. Jaden Ball turned out being great, and Jacoby Jackson certainly looks like it. You didn't know that going into last season, and I think he was better in Montreal. But the reason he left is because he wanted the football. It wasn't about money. He wanted to win, and he wanted the ball, and he was not getting it. Denzel was winning and was actually going to get the ball more. So it isn't like the same thing at all. It's a weird, it surprised me. I mean, I tweeted unreal, and I have some guy, on me, and it's fine. And he's like, why? I applaud the young man for looking out for his financial future. And my joke was, if you're applauding players looking out for their financial well-being right now, then you need to start getting some oven mitts like Costanza, back when he wanted to be a hand model. You remember that one on Seinfeld? Because you're gonna be applauding constantly. All these kids, that's all they care about for the most part is, what are you paying me? There are 5 questions, and the first 4 are that, and the 5th one's playing time. I mean, it's like, what are you paying me? 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 And am I playing? They degrees, facilities, all that stuff certainly comes into it for some families more than others, some kids more than others. But it's what the bottom line, man. It's a bottom line business right now, and it's where we're at.
It's all about money.
I don't know if the settlement's going to change
money.
either, even though they're trying to put some sort of, guardrails on the spending, limiting school or putting, schools, you get X amount of money, 20.5 million, you distribute as you do. And it's mostly going to go to football, and then men's basketball will be next. But it's not nearly, let's say they even give 3 of that to basketball. This roster is going to cost 3 times, 4 times that. So you got to raise most of the money still anyway in a sport like basketball.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have, though. If we were losing, you could probably get some guys cheap. But when you're a winning program, you win a national title, it's just going to get more difficult and going to need more money. So good problem to have, I guess. Edgar, good stuff as always. Let everybody know you are back live and loaded on Twitter at handle
OS Gators. There should be some news out of basketball today. They're probably going to finally officially name this assistant coach, who seems like an interesting, super intelligent guy with a real analytics bent, which fits the kind of the paradigm they have over there. Dave Klatsky and AJ Brown, visiting, who knows, that could happen quickly too. So there's going to be continued news with basketball, and like the good problem they have is people care, because people didn't care like when, what was going on in the off season a little bit, sure. But now it's heightened interest, and, Todd's done a great job putting this program in the spotlight and getting and drawing, spurring interest, let's say. Thanks, Shane.
Yeah. Edgar, appreciate your time. And Edgar is no longer in the pet sitting business.
In the what?
Pet sitting. When you
Lord.
not babysit but pet sit.
I'm
glad you found the dog, Edgar.
I love dogs, but man, she put me through it. Okay, I'll see you guys. Thank you, man.
That's Edgar Thompson. Join us on the Titan Ball Hotline courtesy of Camp. Victorious, proud NIL part of the Florida Gators. Join today to help make Florida victorious. Have a great day, folks. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.